give a brief introduction. Bhante Dr. Chandima is a professor of Buddhist philosophy in the Department of Philosophy at Ateneo de Manila University, Philippines. Bhante's recent peer-reviewed article, Socrates and Early Buddhist Medical Ethics, Foundations of Moral Reasoning in the Care of the Body and Mind, was published in Buddhi, a journal of ideas and culture of Ateneo de Manila University. Bhante also presented his latest research at the annual meeting of the American Academy of Religion in Boston, USA, in a paper titled Custodians Without Ordination, the Ganinase Tradition and Monastic Succession in the 17th Century of Sri Lanka. Okay, without further ado, let us put our hands together and say sadhu 3 times to Bhante. Dr. Chandima, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Good evening, Dhamma friends. I'm very happy to see all of you for this new class, Dhamma Class. And we will start our class in a minute of time, as we plan to start it at 2:30. We will start with a short meditation, metta meditation, very, very short one, just to get familiar with the basis of the teachings, and then we will go into the material today. Okay, so we are going to practice metta meditation. Metta means unlimited friendliness or loving kindness. So we are going to practice metta towards everybody, starting from us. So we have 5 target groups: oneself, loved ones, neutral people, difficult, challenging people, and then all living beings. First, we are starting loving kind metta meditation from us. So please contemplate on these aspects as you reflect on the metta and extend metta to those. May I be well, happy, and peaceful. May no harm come to me. May no difficulties come to me. May no problems come to me. May I always meet with success. May I also have patience, courage, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable problems, difficulties, failures in life. Now we are bringing the same loving kindness, metta, which we extended to us personally, to others, starting from family. May my loved ones, including family members and others, those people who I don't have likes or dislikes, neutral people, and those people who you think that difficult to manage sometimes, handle, challenging difficult beings, and all living beings. Be well, happy, and peaceful. May no harm come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May no problems come to them. May they always meet with success. May they also have patience, courage, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable problems, difficulties, and failures in their lives. Now let us take a moment to reflect on these aspects of metta, perhaps for a minute of time. All right, so today is the first day, I think we already seen some of the reasons why you wanted to join this class when you register. And if I'm not mistaken, I think most of them wanted to learn Dhamma, perhaps in a bit organized way. When you learn Dhamma from here and there, scattered different teachings, most of all school Buddhism, right? So that is why I suggested that we learn Buddha's teachings from Dhammapada, right? So this is perhaps the most interesting translation with some pictorial illustrations that were done, and that's why we are going to study this. And I want to discuss a little bit about Dhammapada. You know, when we discuss about religions, we know different religions, and all those religions have handbooks, right? May I know the handbooks? May I know some of the handbooks that you know already? The Holy Bible is one. That's a handbook, right, of Catholics, and the Holy Quran, Islam's. And what are the other handbooks? Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita. No, Vedas are not taken as a handbook. Vedas are bulky, very huge. But Bhagavad Gita is a very crispy, handy version of all those. Because in Hinduism, you know, Veda, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishad. Veda, Brahmana are the earliest teachings. And Aranyaka, Upanishad are not happy with those teachings. So there is a tension between these two. So Bhagavad Gita was the book that was made, which was part of one of the very famous epics called Mahabharata, that eased the tension between that Veda and then the Upanishad thinking. So Bhagavad Gita is the handbook. So when you read Bhagavad Gita, you read, of course, the whole Hinduism, right? And most of the Hindu traditions that you see now, even in Malaysia, they are going back to Bhagavad Gita, not directly to Veda. But if you read Bhagavad Gita, you see Vedic statements across. And so do we have a handbook as Buddhist? Do we have a handbook? That's not, Vainikas are very huge, very bulky. Handbook should be handbook. You should be able to carry it. You can. Yeah, Dhammapada is the book that can be said as the handbook. Now you might be wondering, how come Dhammapada became the handbook? Right? This is the question. If you read Dhammapada stanzas, there are 423 stanzas with 26 chapters in this Dhammapada. All these stanzas are not new stanzas to the Sutta Pitaka. All are coming from other suttas. That means when you read Dhammapada, means you know everything in the suttas. How is that idea? Feel good, right? I give you the motivation today. So you keep it up. Right? It's not something like isolated teachings in the canon. Actually, as lay people, I know you have a hard time in reading suttas. May I know what a couple of challenges you are going through? Because we are not doing a sutta study. That's a little bit heavy for you. I have sutta studies too in some places. But I would like to present the gist, the most important part of the canon through Dhammapada. So when you learn Dhammapada, you learn, I would say, almost everything. Sometimes those people who read through 2, 3, 4, 5 suttas also don't understand the whole canon, but only by reading Dhammapada they understand it. So may I know what are the challenges you have gone through in learning Buddhist teachings through suttas? Okay, so there are not adequate explanations for certain people. For someone, it might be adequate. For different people, it might be not adequate enough. So that means in order to read suttas, you might need commentary, but there are issues as well. Commentaries were written in Sri Lanka in the 5th century, long time after the Buddha's passing away. So there are certain things that have crept in to this commentaries, but there are very good things too. So there are, that means only a good scholar, expert can differentiate what is to be taken from the commentary, what is not to be taken from the commentary. That is one issue. Second, what is another challenge that you have gone through in learning suttas, when you go to sutta study, when you want to learn? Until you come up with the second challenge, I would ask you, is learning Dhamma through Dhamma talks enough? It might not be enough. It might not be enough. Why? Most of the Dhamma talks might not come from a sutta. Sometimes they are personal thoughts about the suttas. Sometimes they are certain popular concepts about, now think about mindfulness, right? So you go to 10 Dhamma talks about mindfulness, they all talk about mindfulness is this and that, right? But you never study about Satipatthana Sutta. So how do you know mindfulness? Then you will understand, if you learn Satipatthana Sutra, mindfulness is a wrong translation as well. Because when you cultivate, you not only fill the mind, but also you remove certain things from the mind. That is not mindfulness. So it's kind of an awareness, cultivation. That's why it's better to study. But I know you want to study, but there are challenges with regard to studying. So another challenge, somebody raised their hand. Okay, that's an interesting question. Where to? No, suttas were not written in the Buddha's time. They were in Sri Lanka. Okay, they came down to us through the oral tradition. Okay, so two challenges. One is where to begin. Actually, if you learn from a teacher who knows this issue very well before doing a sutta study, the teacher will normally pick up a sutta that is better to start with before he or she goes into other suttas. I would tell you, if you go for a sutta study, the sutta study could have been started with Alagaddupama Sutta. This sutta is in Majjhima Nikaya. This sutta teaches us why to study Dhamma, where to study Dhamma, and even having studied Dhamma at a certain point, we should not cling to the Dhamma, we should unlearn the Dhamma. That is the starting point. Then the teacher can pick up certain other important suttas like Satipatthana Sutta, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, Mahachattarisaka Sutta, some of the very philosophical suttas, which other suttas also referring to those suttas at certain point. But you know something very interesting today. Now you ask where to start these studies. I could say Dhammapada. Why? When you study Dhammapada, you learn all the important teachings of the suttas in a structured way, right? And then the second thing is context. So who can know the context? Only someone who has done a very thorough study about the suttas can tell. You can't go to that length, definitely. That's why you need to depend on a teacher. Normally we say when you study a sutta, or say you want to study a certain part of the sutta, you need to read the previous paragraph. And you also need to read the following paragraph. Then you read the real paragraph. Then you can little bit understand the context of the sutta. Because Pali words have many meanings. What do you think? How many meanings could have a Pali word at the very least? Now think about the Pali word samaya. Evang me sutang ekang samayang bhagava samaya. Samayang has at least 9 meanings. So how do you know which meaning is that? You have to be a Pali scholar. You will never be a Pali scholar, right? Like this. You can't be as a layperson. You can't go to that level. You will study, but you can't get to that level. It's an expert level. That's why you need some guidance with regard to that. And context must be understood. Otherwise, we will misunderstand, mislearn about it. That's where people end up with that there is no rebirth. That is a completely un-Buddhist idea. And then dana is not important, meditation is more important, or dana is more important than meditation. Why is it? They haven't studied Dhamma in a proper way. They studied Dhamma from a Dhamma talk. One Dhamma talk say, don't do this, do that. And you never ask, how do you say that? Where is the source for this? Right? You can't ask that because teacher is a little bit not approachable. You write it down, you go home, you spread it around. Right? And you are distributing all the poison to others too. Right? That's why we need to study some Dhammapada is very interesting, very good for that issue. So you can fix that issue. All right. So now let us go to the book here. Right. So we are going to click the first one. So today we are going to start from the first chapter. The first chapter is called Yamaka Vagga. Yamaka Vagga means twin verses. That means there are 2 verses where one verse is talking the wrong problem. Second verse fixes the problem. Okay. So I could say in theory, what do you call, these are twin verses or dichotomies. One verse talks about the problem. Second verse says how to fix the problem. Suffering follows the evil doer. Can we go for a better translation for this? Dukkha. Dukkha follows the evil doer. And also the second one, happiness follows the good person. Right? So there are 2 stories. So we are going to first to this stanza 59. And then let's go to the Pali stanza. Can we all read this stanza? Okay, you can see it, right? Mano pubbangama dhamma mano setta mano maya manasache paduttena basativa karutiva tatonang dukkhaman beti chakkang vahato padang. Now what is the problem here? I don't know Pali. What is this? Sometimes people might think. Actually, this is very easy to translate. Let's see. How to find the order of this verse? You go down here. This is the story. This is the order. Dhamma mano pubbangama mano setta manomaya che paduttena manasa basativa karotiva tato dukkang nang anveti vahato padang chakkang. This is the way how you have to translate. Let's go back. Okay, before we get to this translation, I would like to give you some insights about the same idea across the canon. You know, Buddhism places a very high emphasis about karma, right? Were there philosophies in the world that time and now where those philosophies reject karma and the result of karma? Are there philosophies or any ideas about any denial of karma and karma's results? There are, especially materialism-based religions and philosophies. Especially when you say there's no life after this, definitely, then no karma as well, right? So you have no time to, no place to enjoy those karmas, good or bad. So, but Hinduism was not saying the same thing. Hinduism said there is karma, but according to Hinduism, they said that every action produces karma. What do you think? You look at that boat, also karma. You look at somebody, is also karma. Also, you are very planning to do something good or bad, also karma. That was the Hindu interpretation, early Hindu interpretation. Okay, what do you think? Is it karma? I would leave you to think about it. But Buddhism, the Buddha teaches us that not all actions are karma. What do you think? Very happy, right? But don't misuse it. There are karmaless actions. There are two types of karmaless actions. One is when we don't have the volition about what we are doing. Volition, the mental energy to, to proceed with an action, that is called a karmaless action. Let's say you are walking here, you never see certain tiny creatures on the floor. Of course, we don't see. So, then it is not a karma according to Buddhism. But what if you see the tiny creatures on the floor and you still step on them? It's a karma. And you are driving on a road, highway or normal place. What do you think? Are you sometimes stepping on certain tiny creatures? Of course, yes. It's a road, right? So, then are you making karma? Because you don't know. You don't see. The road is clear. But there was one Buddhist who was taking this very seriously. And I mean, by imagination, I'm telling you, that Buddhist thought, I cannot kill any other animal. I had to be very careful about even driving. So on a very busy highway, many vehicles are coming behind him or her. There was an animal appearing on the highway. So I'm a Buddhist, now I have to stop. What will happen if you stop on a very busy highway? Cars are coming at 110 speed. What would happen to you? Other cars are going to crash onto you. Many people will die behind. According to the driver's manual, can you stop your car like that? No, they say, do not jeopardize other drivers just because you want to save an animal on a highway. Of course, if we could save the animal, much nicer, right? Much good. But sometimes we don't have a lot of choices in our life. We have to make it. Actually, a lot of people do bad karmas sometimes because they don't understand the choices and selections properly. So that means even when you want to practice karma, the volition, you have to know the situation very well and what to do. Or suppose you are having a flu and now you end up with a cough. And then you try a lot of over-the-counter medications, but none of them seem working. So you go see a doctor. Now the doctor says, your cough has become very aggressive now. All these over-the-counter medications won't listen to this level. So I'm going to give you a maybe strong antibiotic, like a codeine-based syrup. But there are certain things that you have to keep in mind. You can't take it during the day. It's drowsy. So you take it just before you sleep. Right? So by night you are thinking, I'm a Buddhist. Who antibiotic means killing somebody, right? Antibiotic. So how to kill? I'm a Buddhist. Doctor asked me to take it, but I cannot kill it. Or you become someone like, tonight I'm going to kill that bacteria, so happily by drinking the codeine syrup. Those two are bad karmas. Right? One is not necessary. Second one is definitely bad karma. Because you are taking the medication not to kill the bacteria. You want to get well. Right? Because if you give suffering, if you give torture into your body, that is also kind of, what is it called? It's kind of a panagata. You are doing not enough self-care. So I would like to tell you that karma in Buddhism means volitional action. Everything that is volitional becomes a karma. But don't misuse it. At the same time, do the good karmas or engage in the karmas with wisdom, because we don't have lots of sometimes choices to make, so we have to be very wise about it. Okay, with that, let's go into the stanza. Mano pubbangama dhamma. Okay, to do it. This is an error, right? See. Okay, we'll do like this. Dhamma mano pubbangama. Dhamma means, what is Dhamma? Knowables. Let's go for a very easy translation. Dhamma means experiences. Do we have experience in our life? Lots of experiences. How are our experiences constructed from? How are they made from? In the Dhamma way, how are you making your experiences? Or maybe you can look at a certain experience that you had before. If you look at it, what do you see in that experience? Yeah? Perception and feeling. Sanya and Vedana. Now think about an experience you had before 10 years ago. You had a bad argument with somebody. Now you think about it. What are you left with? A memory about it. And every time it is coming to your mind, you will feel something. Right? Perception and feeling. So Buddhism says that all our experiences are preceded by the mind. There's no experience that is coming after something. So mind is always preceded. I mean, mind is what takes you to those experiences. Mano setta, mind is the chief. Manomaya, mind made adi. Even the physicality is mind made. Manasa, with the mind, what kind of mind? Paduttena here. Paduttena means corrupted mind. Corrupted mind means akusala, unwholesome mind. What is basically the akusala mind? If your mind is with greed, hatred, delusion, that is the corrupted mind. Right? Then what is the pure mind? If your mind is with generosity, loving kindness, and wisdom, that is the pure mind. So we discussed that in the next stanza. So if you are going to basativa, speak, and karotiva, do, with a corrupted mind. If you talk to someone, if you act on something with that corrupted mind. Is it happening nowadays? I think we are talking to many people, right? On a daily basis, we are acting on certain things. But if we are acting, talking with a lobha mind, greed mind, or hatred mind, or a delusion mind, what will happen to us? Dukkha, we are creating. Dukkha means? No, better word is pain. Not every pain is suffering. So pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. So you can choose what you want. Right? I think we, human beings, we always make our pain into a suffering. Right? But actually what is happening is pain. Pain is everywhere. The more we understand our pain, the better we understand the dukkha. Right? So a better translation for dukkha is pain, not suffering. Right? But if you don't manage pain well, it will become suffering. So simply because of that, you cannot translate it as suffering. That's the point. So now when we talk to someone with lobha, dosa, moha, greed, hatred, delusion, when you do things with greed, hatred, delusion, what will happen is you are creating enormous amount of dukkha, pain. You are creating pain for you. You are creating pain for other people. Just like this. Just like the hoof of the ox, right? Just like the wheels of the cart are following the hoof of the ox, right? Wherever the oxen go, and all those footprints are followed by the wheel. This is what it chakkangva bahato padang, as to the wheel of the ox hoof. So that means every time we make an unwholesome speech, unwholesome thought, especially unwholesome thought is what creates unwholesome speech, unwholesome action, we have to pay a cost for that. Right? So you can't take it very lightly. So you have to be serious about what you are doing. Okay, so let's go to the story. The story of the monk Chakkupala. All right. Would you like to read? Is anybody willing to read this part? I would ask someone to read this part if you would like. The first para. Anybody? No, I mean we can start. Okay. She will read the story
testing.
from here while reciting until here. Yeah, please. The story of
the monk Chakkupala, verses 1. While residing at the Jetavana monastery in Saraswati, the Buddha spoke these verses with reference to Chakkupala, a blind monk. On one occasion, monk Chakkupala came to pay homage to the Buddha at the Jetavana monastery. One night, while pacing up and down in meditation, the monk accidentally stepped on some insect. In the morning, some monk visiting the monk found the dead insect. They thought ill of the monk and reported the matter to the Buddha. The Buddha asked them whether they had seen the monk killing the insect. When they answered in the negative, the Buddha said, just as you had seen him killing.
You had not seen him. Huh?
You have not seen him killing, so also he had not seen those living insects. Besides, as the monk had already attained arahantship, he could have no intention of killing, so he was innocent. On being asked why Chakkupala was blind, although he was an arahat, the Buddha told the following story.
Okay, so we will ask from another one, the next part. So what's happening here? There was a monk called Chakkupala, but he's a blind monk. So what happened? One night, while he was doing walking meditation, he must have stepped on certain insects on the walking meditation path. So in the following morning, some other monks, of course, unenlightened monks, they saw certain dead insects on the walking path. So what happened? They reported what they saw to the Buddha. But the Buddha knew what they were talking about, and then he knows the truth as well. So the Buddha told those monks, just like how you did not see what really had happened, so was also the Venerable Chakkupala, because he had not seen. And then the Buddha told them that he had no intention of killing, right? So it happened. But if Venerable Chakkupala was informed before that there are insects, you don't walk on that, he would have left that place. But it didn't happen too. So this is what happened. So we go to the next para. Last para. I would like to read this part.
Chakkupala was a physician in one of his past existences. Once he had deliberately made a woman patient blind. That woman had promised to become his slave together with her children if her eyes were completely cured. Fearing that she and her children would have to become slaves, she lied to the physician. She told him that her eyes were getting worse when in fact they were perfectly cured. The physician knew she was deceiving him, so in revenge he gave her another ointment which made her totally blind. As a result of this evil deed, the physician lost his eyesight many times in his later existences.
So this is a karma, right? So this means Venerable Arahant Chakupala was a very good maybe physician, GP, and then actually there was something happened. What happened was that the patient, one patient, woman patient, wanted to obtain some medications, and she promised something, right? And but later on, when she was getting better, she changed her mind. And then what happened? The Chakupala's that life as a doctor, he was angry. He wants to take revenge, and then he gave another ointment to completely make her blind. And he has been experiencing blindness for many, many lifetimes for doing that bad karma. Now, even in the final life as an arahant. Now, what should be understood in this story? Never do any harm to anyone under any condition, because it will come after you. Right? You may have a lot of justification in your life. That person did something wrong to me, my time, my money, my this and that. You know, in today's world, people get very much upset, angry even for a short, small thing, because they cannot see the bigger picture, right? And then they are going to harm others. They are going to take revenge, right? This is what we are seeing in the global politics as well, right? Just for a small word, okay, we're going to do double. Like this kind of attitude, Buddhism teaches us, regardless, you don't create any problems. Actually, the issue here is that if you go back, why this lady promised to him that she would become a slave with her children, right? This is also a problem, and she gave certain expectations with regard to the doctor, and doctor was also wrong at the end, right? He can't do like that. So I think one thing we have to learn is that never create akusala situations in your life. Never let other people have some expectations out of your activities towards them. That might be the primary cause of all the evil that is happening after. Normally people pick up the one who did the worst thing after that, right? But actually, according to Buddhism, we have to go back to the cause of the problem, right? If you give any, what you call expectations, any such things, then people will do things accordingly. When these things are not happening, they will do bad things to you. There are so many news articles about these events, how people died very tragically, about giving hopes, relationships, money, right, business, right? I think one thing you have to learn is that when you work with other people, be very careful, keep safe boundaries all the time. Keep safe ethical boundaries, so you are safe in that. Second is that Buddhists are supposed to know the problem well ahead of time, right? So how to be a good Buddhist? Then you have to have preventative wisdom earlier. Buddhism talks about something called preventative wisdom. What is it called by preventative wisdom? You get ready early. There is dukkha over there, pain. You get ready for the dukkha earlier. Not that you wait until the dukkha hits you. What is one good example? Let's say an annual medical checkup. And you think, no, I'm very good, why should I go and get myself checked? Right? Why to spend money for these things, And some people think that if I get checked, if I was diagnosed, and it's even more dukkha, better I don't go and then get me checked. So you are not doing it for many, many years. And even after a couple of years, you having issues, and you go, at that point, nobody can save you. 1 hour test now is a lifelong suffering. Right? 1 hour, maximum 2 hour test. But now lifelong suffering. Nobody can help you. And at that time, that misunderstood Buddhist thing, my karma, It's not your karma, it's your unwise way of thinking about life. Now you create another karma on top of that. That is one very good example. Actually, when Buddha talks about financial wisdom in some of his suttas, just like Pattakama Sutta and Bhagavad Sutta, Buddha teaches us that every layperson should not overspend money and every layperson should not underspend money. I think you know overspending money, right? You spend more than your income. That's of course not a good thing. It's like you are going to be trapped in modern financial tricks like credit cards. You don't have to pay back the full amount, right? The bank says that you pay only the minimum amount. So you are very happy, right? $1,000 bill, you pay only $100, perhaps even 50, maybe 50. But then if you look at it, every month you are incurring lots of interest. After almost couple of months, and then you are not even able to pay it back. Your salary also not enough to pay back. So it's a financial trick. The Buddha teaches us you don't have to, you have to always, because it's not your money, right? Credit card is not your money. But we have to use the credit card. But we should know how to use it wisely. So then, overspend. Then the Buddha also said, do not underspend money. What is that? Don't be too stingy to spend money. We start with a medical checkup. You did not spend that much money. And now you have to spend, I think, perhaps lots of money. Another thing, this kind of a class. You have no goal of coming to this class, right? Don't set goals. Why? If you set goals, you are goal-oriented. In a Dhamma class, you have to set goals for your finances and your family life, all that. But here, if you set goals, what will happen? That you are only oriented towards that goal. You just come and study something. Today you might not understand, but one day you will understand. That's what I am teaching students. Don't try to think that, today what I am going to get out of this class. Still I cannot get something. Keep thinking. You do the mantra every day. And then you are not able to get anything out of it. Right? Even the Buddha did that to some people, when some people came to his Dhamma talks. There was one man, actually he is the son of Anathapindika. The one who built up the whole Jetavanarama. So Anathapindika's son name was Kala. K long A L A. So Anathapindika, the bank Anathapindika thought, I'm such a very good devotee. I have donated the temple and I've been going to I've been giving dana every day for 500 monks in my place. But my son is such a misbeliever. He's just a mischievous, playful man, and I want to support him. So he thought a plan. The plan was giving some money in this way. Son Kala, if you go to the vihara today, I give you this much of kahapana. At that time, kahapana. Kahapana means mostly gold. So he said, yeah, I will go because money, right? So he went to the temple. And at the end of the day, he asked from his father, give me the money because I went to the temple today. I mean, nobody will give you money like that today, right? You came here, right? So the father gave him money. And then, second day, now the father wanted him to learn something out of the Dhamma talk. So he went to Jetanarama. He said, today you go to the temple, but you should listen to the Dhamma talk. You should learn one thing and you come and tell me what you learn. So he went in. That day the Buddha was giving the Dhamma talk. So he sat down somewhere. He's trying to capture the first thing Buddha talks about. Then does not want to listen to anything else. Then what the Buddha did was, Buddha made him not capture anything in particular. Let him learn the whole Dhamma talk, 1 hour, maybe more than that. At the end, what happened? He became a Sotapanna. Someone who went to Dhamma talk to get the money became Sotapan. How poor are you? Huh? You never want to take any money out of any Dhamma talk, you never become Sotapan. What's going on? But someone who went to listen to a Dhamma talk to get some money became Sotapan. So then Bank Anathapindika didn't know what happened to him. So he thought, I'm going to give that money to him during the Dana time. So Buddha and other monks came. After the Dana, okay, here's your money. He didn't know what happened. Then he said the Dhammapada stanza, it's in Dhammapada too. Patavya eka rajjena saggassa gamanenava sabbalokadi pachena sotapatti palangvara. If you give me the whole kingdom of this whole universe, if you give me anything else, that is nothing worthier than becoming a Sotapanna. Then only Father understood, he became a Sotapanna already. Right? So I'm trying to say, learning is as such. So underspending means the Buddha told us never underspend money. This is a very good place to learn. You will not progress it, maybe not today. This is happening, this is supporting your whole Dhamma journey. And what are the other things that you should not underspend? Taking care of your parents. You should not underspend. Some people are waiting to be rich to take care of them, By that time, they are gone. Then you go to the cemetery and do other things, do dana and all that. So it's very important to show our appreciation, our love towards our loved ones while they are alive, not when they pass away. Right? So underspending. Any other example? You can think about. So I'm trying to tell you, Buddha taught such important messages through his teaching. So now in this case, what we need to understand is that we should never create unnecessary expectations when we work with other people. At the same time, regardless of any situation, we should not create any bad karma. But I know it's easier than done, right? Why is it? There are certain things you have to understand. What are those things? We are not going to practice Dhamma always at ideal situations. It's like you are trained in a driving school to drive the car at 110 speed on a highway. But you can't drive that speed all the time. Especially in the bad weather. Can you drive 110 on a highway? No, you have to slow down. Right? It's a different situation. And let's say someone ahead of you is not driving properly, maybe tailgating or maybe doing other things. So you have to change. In the same way, this Dhamma cannot be practiced all the time in a similar way. Just like that situation, when you have a cough, that situation, and taking antibiotics. What are the other examples? How to deal with certain insects in your house. Right? Are your house insects free? I don't think so. Right? And you are calling them uninvited guests. But they think when they come into your house, they are the owners of your house. Right? So how to deal with these animals? Mosquitoes, cockroaches, and these animals, rats sometimes. What are we supposed to do? So Buddha teaches us we have to plan ahead of these situations. How do mosquitoes come into my house? Would it be better to close doors earlier? Let everybody in the house be informed about the situation. Eating habits, or after we done our food, are we just leaving the food plates everywhere, in the sink and all that? So asking animals to come in and enjoy a sip of food, bit of food. So I think we can deal with them a little earlier. I know there may be situations when they know that they can come, they will keep coming. That's a different situation. Then you have to go for certain things. But I'm trying to tell you, the situations that we practice Dhamma are not always nice, not ideal. That is when you have to have the wisdom how to tackle these situations. Right? Perhaps I think in the Q&A you may ask some questions about it, so I will leave that. Okay, so from the stanza and the story, number 1, what we are learning is that never give unnecessary expectations to other people to create hassles in your life. It can be anything. Second, never try to create a akusala. Because you think you are good, you are right, because simply because you want to be right, you do it. But you are not right in the karma, in the sansara. I'm telling you. You will pay a big cost. Think about this doctor, Chakupala, whenever Chakupala's previous life, he simply wanted to take revenge for something that he missed out on in that life. Actually, he could have hired someone to do, made to do those things. He's a doctor, right? He doesn't have to make the woman blind. But that anger, that he couldn't see the bigger picture of what is happening. In our life, people reject us, right? Do people reject us in our life? Yes. So what's the problem? Right? We have to take the rejections as something that we don't have to react. We have to respond. Right? Maybe relationships, maybe money, maybe family, maybe even your words. Sometimes people don't accept your words. You are rejected. You don't have to react to those people. You have to respond properly. Don't expect everybody should do what you want them to do. That is also dukkha. This is also something we are learning from this doctor. Right? So I think please learn all that so you will understand the bigger picture of what the doctor could not understand in that life. So ultimately he had to pay a big cost, even being blind as an arahant. And also the other thing we discussed was karma. Karma is volitional activity. So karma is not everything. Karma is only the volitional activity. But don't take it as a free pass to kill other people. Right? You say, I didn't know, I just ran over, so I didn't see it. But you saw it. You're explaining it, you say, I don't know, I didn't know, easy answer. So don't go to that kind of an attitude, because in order to practice Buddhism, there's one thing very important. What is it? Honesty. Nobody knows what is your practice. You show to other people, I'm such a good person, I have precepts. So you only know who you are. Right? There's a time that you cannot cheat on that self. When is that time? The moment you are dying. You cannot cheat on you. And you want to confess, but you don't know how to confess at that time. Right? That's why it's very important to understand the karma. And also I want to tell you, karmas, everything that we experience are not primarily coming from karma all the time. There are other things also. Sometimes we make bad decisions in our life, and we have to go through results for those bad decisions. Just like the medical checkup. Right? That's a very good thing. So, and think about someone who is going to a gym, wants to do some fitness activities. Right? Without a proper guidance, the person is going to do dumbbells. What will happen to the person? No warming up, anything. Directly go to that place, because he or she is very much into lifting dumbbells. And later on the day, you feel very difficult. Muscles are aching. Right? Why is it? Because you should have done a little bit of warming up. And then after you finish, also you have to do a little bit of warming up. Then when you go home, you don't know this thing. You are thinking, see, I can't even go to a gym, my bad karma. Right? Here pain, there pain. I went to the best gym in the city. But see the pain. Then the Buddha said, that is nothing to do with karma. It's a wrong way of positioning your body. Where did the Buddha say? Sivaka Sutta, Girimananda Sutta. Buddha said that. That's why don't treat karma as a garbage bin. That's such a precious thing. There are a lot of things we are doing to mess up our karma. So I think let's learn that. Now we are moving on to the next stanza. I think you can read the rest. If you have any questions, please send me a message anytime. I can answer that. Okay, next stanza. Good side. This is a good side. Now that one, corrupted mind, greed, hatred, delusion. Now generosity, dana, metta, loving kindness, wisdom. Someone is going to do something, any activity with that good mind, wholesome mind. Okay, let us read the stanza. Everything is same. The only thing that is different is last two lines. Mano pubbangama dhamma Manu Siddha Manu Maya Manasache Pasannena Basativa Karutiva Tatonang Sukhaman Veti Chayav Anapayini. The first 4 lines are same. Mind precedes all experiences. Mind is the chief. Mind made are they. If with a clear, pasannena means clear, basativa karotiva, with a kusala mind. If someone is doing anything with a pasanna means actually clear, kusala mind. Basativa, speak and act. Then what will happen? That person creates happiness. Happiness is compared to shadow. Why? We don't see our shadow all the time, right? Do we see our shadow? It's very difficult to see sometime, right? That's why some people are very fast goal oriented. I've been doing dana every day, but I have more problems than someone who doesn't do dana like me. Why? Those people are doing that because of certain expectations. When you are doing dana, don't look at what can I get out of this. That is the biggest mistake you are doing. Just do it to make those people, Sangha members or whoever, to be happy. That is your happiness. You don't try to process your karma, karma will be processed. Some people want to process their karma. You can't do that. You are the doer only. Processing is happening in the scene, behind. Right? That's why sometimes you do good karma, but end result is bad karma. Why is it? You think you did a good karma, but actually it was processed in a bad way. Who is right? Who is correct? Karma was processed in the cosmic way. You did it in the wrong way. Right? Let's say you are giving a dana. You are very happy. But after 2 days, a thought comes to you. The grocery items are expensive stuff, right? I bought them. Those grocery items are much expensive. Then what will happen? Your dana, good karma, will be reduced to 70%. Then now this person doesn't train the mind. No meditation, no cultivation. Then what will happen? By the 5th day, again that thought is coming back. Doesn't know how to handle it. Then, yeah, it's true, expensive stuff. Right? I could have saved that money. Then it will go down to 50. After a few days, it will go down to 10% maybe. That's why we are saying giving is easier compared to, giving is easier compared to giving with the right thought, right view. That's why Buddha teaches in one sutta that there are people who are giving dana without being moral, no precepts. They are killing, they are stealing, they are sexually misbehaving, they are lying, they are slandering, they are hurting other people with their speech, they are gossiping, idle chatting, they are too greedy, they are always angry and wishing suffering on other people, they are having wrong view. But still go to the temple and do dana. I'm not asking you to be that. The Buddha teaches what will happen to them when they pass away. In a sutta. Janusoni sutta. Don't worry about it. I'm just telling you the exact wording. Buddha says what will happen to those people is that they will be reborn as animals, but with favorable conditions. A dog that is very comfortable dog, well taken care by everybody compared to other street dogs. And then a horse, a noble animal, an elephant, a noble animal, also a cow. Now think about the cows who are living in India and cows who are living in other places. Who is more venerated? Indian cow is more venerated. Very big, very people respect. Even people touch their cow dung. So to be born as a cow in India, somebody must have done some dana with, without precepts. Right? Now you know why some animals are more favored, born in more favorable conditions compared to others. Because they have done dana to get those comforts from humans. Humans say, I can talk to my dog. I can see dog is laughing, not laughing, smiling at me, right? Because they have done good karmas without precepts. So that's why we need to know this a little in little bit details. So you need to know that every time when you talk to someone, when you act on something, you need to do those activities with generosity, then loving kindness and wisdom. Is it okay? Can we move to the... Okay, please save it. Huh? Now, there's something very interesting here that we need to know. Happiness, sukha. You can see this Pali word, sukha. Okay, what is the Buddhist attitude towards happiness? Buddhism understands that, technically speaking, we are not able to be happy all the time. But if we understand life more and more, we have the right attitude towards life, we can be happy all the time. Now think about if you spend a day, because people complain even about small things too, right? Everything is good in the house, but there is something not good. Weather, raining too much today. I'm not happy, just because it's raining too much. And then these days, hot heat strokes, hot weather, right? So not happy about it. Can you control these things? You can't control these things. That is when Buddha said, when things cannot be controlled, you need to know that they cannot be controlled. Then you are happy. Right? In our life, we are asked to control everything. People, relationships, money, everything. But there are certain things that you cannot control. So when you know that these are not able to be controlled, then every time when things like that are happening, you are happy. One small example. You want to correct everybody when things go in the way that you don't like. Do you do that sometime? It's not right to say like this. And you come to the temple and somebody is sitting down on the cushion. You can't sit like that in front of the Buddha, You must sit properly. That person is first time to the temple, What is this, I think it might be the first and last time of that person, Right? You want to correct every single thing. And you become the busybody in all these situations. Everybody doesn't like you, Oh, something is going to happen today. Right? That's why the Buddha says to us, in our life, in many situations, we don't have to comment. We just observe one thing. We simply observe. We don't have to give a comment. Unless it's very, very necessary. Right? And don't become too critical about those things. Why is that happening? That's why the Buddha said in some other places, there are 5 spiritual faculties we have. Confidence, saddha, confidence about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Viriya, energy. Sati, mindfulness or awareness. Samadhi, concentration. And panya, wisdom. And Buddha said, you have to balance out these 5. Don't let one dominate the rest of the 4. Let's say you have too much saddha, too much trust about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. You don't have the saddha with a certain wisdom. So what will happen to you? You will be blind towards a lot of things. Right? You are very blind because you blindly believe things. That is not a good thing. Viriya, energy. Do we need energy to practice Dhamma? Even to come here, you need energy, right? So what about the problems with regard to energy? What if you have very, very less energy? It is a problem. What if you have too much energy? Very much goal-oriented. See, I go to many retreats, many Dhamma talks, nothing happening, Compared to someone I can see, So excited about everything. Overexcited. Never be overexcited about Dhamma practice, about anything else. When you are overexcited, you become the troublemaker in your family, in other places. You are rushing people, pushing people to do certain things. So we need energy, but balance out, right? And then mindfulness or awareness, sati. Lack of sati is a problem, right? You're forgetful all the time. You always say, I don't know, I'm forgetful about it. What if you are too mindful? You are also very dangerous. You are too mindful. You easily pick up other people because you are so mindful. Don't be too mindful, because then you are over mindful. You need mindfulness to some extent to see the clarity, not too much. If you are too mindful, you cannot enjoy your life. You have to balance out. Then samadhi, concentration, lack of concentration is a problem, right? What if you are too concentrated? Then you cannot balance out your life because you are focused on one thing over and over. Then you become an overthinker, right? You are wasting your time. One small thing you are overthinking about it. How do you know that you are overthinking? You can't take a shower because you are not showering in the shower. You are thinking about that particular thing. You are overthinking. Water is coming to you, but you don't know that water is coming to you, right? And you are going to eat, you are overthinking, you can't eat properly, maybe you eat too much. Too concentrated about one thing. And last one, wisdom. Don't be too wise. If you take it in this way, if you are too intellectual, you will do more harm than someone who have no wisdom. Think about the world. When you are too smart, too intellectual, more problems. You will be the troublemaker. Yeah. So then we have to balance out our wisdom too. So the reason why I told this balancing out our spiritual faculties is without balancing out them, we will never be happy in our life. Only when you balance out these spiritual faculties, you will be happy. But happiness will come to you gradually. Don't expect happiness right away because it's like a shadow. All right. So we have come to the next story. So we will be asking someone to read. So who would like to read this story? Happiness follows the doer of the good. Yeah. Okay. While residing at the Jetavana monastery. The story of Matta Kundali.
The story of Mata Kundali, verse 2. While residing at the Jetavana monastery in Savatthi, the Buddha spoke this verse with reference to Mata Kundali, Mata Kundali, a young Brahmin. Mata Kundali was a young Brahmin whose father Adina Pubaka was very misery and never gave anything in charity. Even the gold ornament for his only son were made by himself to save payment for workmanship. When his son fell ill, no physicians was consulted until it was too late. When he realized that his son was dying, he had the youth carried outside onto the veranda, so that people coming to his house would not see his possessions.
Okay. We'll stop at that place. Now, this is another very interesting story. So Buddha was staying at Jetavana temple. There was a man called Adina Pubaka. He was a very stingy man. Is there a difference between stinginess and greed? In Pali we call lobha is greed, macharya is stinginess. May I know what is the difference between these two? If we put it simply, greed is it's a natural part of us that we are greedy for what we have, right? Simple, craving based greed about our stuff. But stinginess or macharya means that if you take it this way, some people are not giving dana to others because they are greedy about what they have. Other than that, there is no reason. But when you become a Macharya, or Macharya person doesn't give dana because that person doesn't like other people enjoy what they are giving, what he is giving to other people. So Macharya has some kind of hatred, some kind of jealousy that is not in the greed, lobha. So it's a bit more dangerous than greed. This man was Macharya man, Adinna Pubbaka, Mattakundali's father. He was too frugal, too thrifty. Even when he wanted to make ornaments for his son, he wanted to do by himself, not because he can do it, right? But because he wants to save some money. At the time, he had lots of money. Let's say if you don't have money, it's okay. But if you can afford, you should have spent some money. That is kind of underspending, right? Underspending problem. So what happened? Son fell ill. There are some versions they're saying Mattakundali, his son got jaundice, maybe anemia. What happened? Now he doesn't want to spend money for his son. So now he thought he's going to die. Definitely he's going to die. So he wanted to bring him from the room into the living area, veranda. So people don't come inside the house and see the ornaments and gold stuff in the house. Okay, so this is his stinginess. So we ask someone else to read the next paragraph on that morning. Yes.
On that morning, the Buddha, arising early from his deep meditation of compassion, saw in his net of knowledge Mata Kundali lying on the veranda. So when entering Sawati for alms food with his disciples, the Buddha stood near the door of Brahmin Adina Pubaka. The Buddha sent forth a ray of light to attract the attention of the youth who was facing the interior of the house. The youth saw the Buddha, and as he was very weak, he could only profess his faith mentally, but that was enough. When he passed away with his heart in devotion to the Buddha, he was reborn in the Tawatimsa celestial world.
Okay, great. So now what happened? One morning during this time, Buddha wanted to, it is said that every morning and evening, Buddha wanted to see if there is someone he can help with. That's a very good habit that we have to learn from the Buddha's life. Every morning when he wakes up, he is looking for someone that he can go and help. Normally it is said in the morning he goes to that place, evening he doesn't go, he sends a certain mental imagery. How about you? When you wake up, what would you think in the morning? Who am I going to bug today? Disturb today? Then you learn today from the Buddha. Normally people don't know about the life of the Buddha. They know what is meant by the Buddha's teachings. Sometimes I share with you some of the Buddha's lifestyle. Every morning he wakes up, the first thought that he wants to bring is, who am I going to help today? Such a very beautiful, not what can I get today from other people, right? This is the problematic thought that we all have. Money, how can I make more business, right? That was a very generous thought. So he saw Mattakundali. He saw the problem. Father is not taking care of him. He took him outside from the room. He's going to die. So I have to go early and help him. So he went. So then what happened? The Buddha cannot go inside. The father doesn't like him to see him. So when he went there, what happened? To Brahmin Adinapubbaka's house, he sent forth a certain ray of light to the youth. Definitely this light should have a certain imagery of the Buddha image. Even when you see a Buddha statue sometime, you feel very happy. That calmness, right? I think, of course, this is much, much better because the living Buddha is sending that. Buddha can do that. When he cannot go inside, he can send it. Right? So what happened? Mattakundali was almost going to die. He saw this imagery. He was very weak, but he couldn't know what is this, but he was very happy to see it. what happened? He passed away with his heart in devotion to this particular serene person. And he was reborn as a Tavatinsa Deva. Now, what does it say? Someone who doesn't know about the Buddha, who has never said Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, who has never said Itipiso Bhagavara, still can think about the Buddha and be happy and be reborn in a better place. Right? So this is what we learn at this point. And then the next paragraph, maybe the last paragraph. Who would like to read that part? Okay, would like to take, yes. From his
celestial abode, the young Mata Kundali, seeing his father mourning over him at the cemetery, appeared to the old man in the likeness of his old self. He told his father about his rebirth in the Tawatimsa world and also urged him to approach and invite the Buddha to a meal. At the house of Adina Pubaka, the question of whether one could or could not be reborn in a celestial world simply by mentally processing profound faith in the Buddha without giving in charity or observing the moral precepts was brought up. So, the Buddha invited Mata Kundali to appear in person. Mata Kundali then appeared in his celestial ornaments and told them about his rebirth in the Tawatimsa realm. Only then the listeners became convinced that the son of the Brahmin Adina Pubaka, by simply devoting his mind to the Buddha, had attained much glory.
Oh, great. Now there is something that is not given here. We see from other versions. What happened after Mata Kundali passed away? Father started mourning over his death a lot. Although he was very stingy, so every day he goes to cemetery, he was mourning. One day, Mata Kundali, now he's a Deva, he came earlier than him, and he was also crying aloud. Then Adina Pubaka asked, "Why are you crying?" He said, "I want to obtain two things. What do you want? I want the sun, I want the moon." Adina Pubaka said, "You will never get them. You can't obtain them." Then he asked, Mata Kundali asked, "Why are you crying?" He said, "My son passed away with a disease, illness. So I am crying over his death." And then he self-identified. He said, "I am Mata Kundali. Mata Kundali will never come back in the same way because he's already reborn. This is just a dead body which is being decomposed." So then they made a connection in that way. What happened after that was that, now this is very interesting. A Deva can talk to a human in the cemetery. Very interesting, huh? Now you are going to Chembing ceremonies, huh? You are thinking, will my departed one come as a Deva and talk to me? You know? But this is very interesting story. So that means when people go and cry, mourn, if the person was reborn as a Deva, they can feel it, depending on the situation. So what happened? Then he then disappeared. Actually, he suggested that you should give a dana as well. Then what happened? He also said, "I was a Deva. Father was not really known to this. I was a Deva because that day Buddha came in. He sent me a certain ray and I was happy to see him. I don't know anything Dhamma, anything about Dhamma, right? If I had known Dhamma, I would have born in a much, much higher place, right? Simply by seeing him." So then what happened? He invited the Buddha for a dana at that point. Buddha invited Deva Mata Kundali to appear. And then what happened? At that point, even the listeners also were convinced about stinginess of the father and how Mata Kundali was benefited out of the compassion of the Buddha. So what does it say? In order to find happiness, sometimes even the small things matter, right? Sometimes when we want to be happy, we think a lot of very different big things, right? I mean, even to practice Dhamma, we may come up with a lot of lofty thoughts. But sometimes these are simple things, right? simple practice, maybe simple happiness, simple trust about the Buddha. He didn't know about Dhamma Sangha. Right? Can work out. So that means when you do even a small thing, small good thing, do it in a big way. What do I mean by big way? Let's say you are sweeping the floor. Remember, there was one story, Arahan Mahakashyapa is a very famous Arahan. He's the one who spearheaded after Buddha passed away, because all the senior monks had passed away when the Buddha passed away. So Arahan Mahakashyapa came in. During he was in his temple, during the Buddha's time, he saw that every day there was someone who is sweeping the floor compound very nicely. And he understood this must not be a human, the way how the compound was swept. So one day he went there and he asked a question from the person, invisible person. Then he saw a female deva, Laja. Her name is Laja, L-A-J-A. Arahan Mahakashyapa said, why are you sweeping the compound? Because you are a deva. If you had not done it, a normal human being can come here and sweep the floor and make more good karma. Why are you, stopping somebody's opportunity to do good karma? Then she said, this is what I did before I became a deva. I became a female deva because I came to your temple. I swept the compound. That is my good karma. So even after I became a deva, I know what I did. I want to come back and keep doing it. What does it mean? Not many things. Sometimes some people go to a temple, they don't know how to learn Dhamma sometimes. So we have to create a surrounding for people to engage in different activities. Volunteering, chanting activities. And if you want to learn more Dhamma, you will be having lots of guaranteed things in your life. Right? So this story teaches us to do a good thing, a kusala thing. You don't need lots of things. You can do even things that you are doing even in your house. Sometimes when you are supposed to do dishes in your house, if you don't have a dishwasher, some people are doing very unhappily. Why me? Every day I'm doing dishes. Everybody eating and leaving the dishes on the sink. But one day you are thinking, just like how I remove the stains on those dishes, remove those stuff left over, I want to remove akusala from my mind. And you're happily doing it every day, rinsing, cleaning, drying off. Then your doing dishes will be a Dhamma experience. Until that day, it will become a certain technical, mechanical activity in the house, juggling with other people in the house. Why me? Then you understand why not me doing it. Cleaning and all that. Right? So this story is teaching us, if you do any good karma with that thought, with dana, metta and panya, it will help us to be reborn, and it will give you lots of benefits. All right, so now let's take a few minutes for Q&A. We will start with her. You said you have a question to ask. So please take the mic. Let's make them short questions, depending on the time. Yeah.
Bhante, quick question regarding the dana giving, right? So if I'm the one who's giving the dana or whatever in terms of not only financial but time and effort, when you do it without the intent of expecting anything or whatever you're giving. But if the people that your family members are not happy with this, especially on the time and effort part, right? Is it a bad karma to you, or is it a bad karma that affects you and other people around you are not happy about it?
I think when
So
you
you
do a
are doing
dana, when you do a dana, different family members will think differently, right? So we cannot make their minds up all the time. People are different. Even in the same family, maybe wife is more generous than the husband, right? So then husband might comment on wife spending, or the vice versa. Husband might be more generous than the wife. So I don't think you should make that a problem. They will comment, right? But this is something about your personal life, so you can keep doing it. It shouldn't affect you. It won't affect you. But the way you process their complaints and all that will affect you. So you have to just keep doing, what makes you happy. I think you can raise your hand. She will hand over the mic, I think, if you have a question.
No question?
Can we come back later? Okay. Yes.
Bhante, regarding the part that you said about the pest infestation, right? So if let's say now you have an infestation and one school of thought is you are infecting your whole house and you're also affecting your neighbors, you kill the pest, example like rat. But someone else believes that Buddha says don't kill. So my husband believes that you take all the rats and go and leave it in the forest. And he's actually doing this. Because for me, I feel that when you live in the forest, you're actually breeding more rats to go and infest other people's house. So in this context, based on what you're saying, because you said we are not supposed to kill, but this is to prevent diseases from happening, which is right and wrong because we are always having an argument about this.
That's why the Buddha teaches us, do everything with wisdom. Not killing has to be done with wisdom. Now in that case, even if you want to catch all the rats, what if there are 500 rats? 1,000 rats, they are breeding very fast. Is it possible? Very difficult. So Buddhist approach is, if you are still early for this situation, if you don't have rats yet, right? If you're too early for this, then you have to maintain your household into a place where rats are not invited. That is the best thing. But if you are halfway of the problem, you can do certain things. You can catch them, right? If you have a dozen of rats. But if it is too many, what can you do? That is why you don't let the situation escalate to that level. Definitely you have to ask a pest control to come and do something, a treatment. That's why Buddhism says don't let the problem become a very big issue. Right? So you have to solve it earlier before it becomes a big problem. And last question, yes.
This sutta bothers me a lot, and I have asked, even I Google about it. It's a Surangama Sutta. Is this the sutta that is taught by the Buddha? But according to Google, it says it's a compilation of all the suttas by the Mahayana tradition. I just want your view on this.
Well, that is a Mahayana Sutra, so we don't have to doubt about it. Now we are talking Pali works. We are also not talking Theravada actually. Pali works. Theravada means Abhidharma and commentaries, Pali commentaries. So when the Buddhism was preserved by Theravada monks and nuns, and then later on Mahayana versions, early Mahayana, so they also compile books. Surangama Sutra is one of them. But I think Mahayana, some versions, they are saying, no, it comes from the Buddha as well, right? So we never know what's the truth. What is important is if there's something you can learn from the Surangama Sutra, I think you can learn it. There's no harm to learn it. Lankavatara Sutra, Surangama Sutra, Vajrachedika, Diamond, Lotus Sutra, they all are good. I mean, if you can learn something out of it.
So there are many suttas which is not, it's more like a compilation of various suttas, is it?
Well, that's why we are here. That's why we started this class.
Me so much.
We don't talk about other sutras. Okay? We don't have to talk about it because it's a very sensitive thing. That's why we started a very formal, gradual class for you to attend to talk about the original message of the Buddha in Pali. Because Pali is precursor to all these Sanskrit, Chinese versions. Okay? So then when you learn here, I think most of the issues that you are having will be
it bothers
solved.
me about some of the suttas are not really taught by the Buddha, like the Surangama suttas. My daughter-in-law is very deep into it, and she even bring home the sutta like a book. I say when I first touch it, my mind, I don't know what happened. I have a hard time. After I get rid of it, I feel peace in my mind, in my heart.
Okay. Well, I mean, we should not cling to any book. Even Dhammapada, we learn it. Don't cling to any book because clinging is a problem, upadana, right?
Yeah.
My suggestion is if you want to study Buddhism properly, better to start with a book like Dhammapada is much, much better.
Yeah.
But that also doesn't say we are condemning other books, right? Because there are traditions around that. But you made a decision to learn, and you are talking about your daughter, right?
Yeah.
Daughter. And I think everything has to be studied in that proper way. Don't need to
Because
worry
one
about.
of the thing is that if you're really deep in your practice, and when they say that you cross the river, you should leave the Dhamma
Yeah, that's what
behind.
I said earlier. That's why if you want to study Dhamma, you should learn Alagadupama Sutra. It's just same example given in that sutra. You have a raft, you cross the river through the raft, and now you are thinking, I had no GPS this time, no GPS, nothing. Only that raft helped me to cross over, so I have to put it on my or over my shoulder. Is it necessary? Right? Sometimes people over practice. When you over practice, you become over religious, too philosophical, too mindful, too wise. That is a problem to you. You are creating a problem to other people. So there are so many, not even in that tradition, in other traditions also same. Everywhere, if you do anything too much, you will end up with too much stuff. So I think we have to balance out our practices. Okay. So with that, we are going to conclude our first class today. So we discuss about Dhammapada's first and second stanzas. So for the next day, what we are going to do is that we are going to pick up. We go back here. We are going to pick up third and fourth stanzas. Huh? I think our next day will be on, when is the next day, Brother Tan? April the 5th. So not too far from today. So then now we are going to give all the good karmas to departed ones and the Devanaga Mahidika. This is a usual practice. So may all the good karmas we be making today by learning how we create dukkha, how we create sukha, pain and happiness in our life. So may all these good karmas be transferred to all departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Next we are going to share all these good karmas with Deva Naga Mahidika. May Deva Naga Mahidika receive all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of you, including your family members, for good health, quality of life, prosperity, safety, and happiness. May Deva Naga Mahidika also finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sangpadang Sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sangpatti siddhya ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sangpatti siddhya ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sangpadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sangpatti siddhya akasattha cha bummattha Deva Naga Mahidika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhang Tusasanang Akasattha Chibhummattha Deva Naga Mahidika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhang Tudesanang Akasattha Chibhummattha Deva Naga Mahidika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhang Parang Chirang Rakhang Tutvan Sadati. Next will be the Dhammavish. Dhammavish means that may we always be surrounded with Kalyana Mitras just like you, those who are doing those who are practicing most Saddha, Sila, Chaga, Panya. Those who have more Saddha, Sila, Chaga, Panya. Saddha means trust about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Sila is morality. Chaga is generosity. Panya is wisdom. At the same time, may we always become Kalyana Mitras to as many sentient beings as we meet in our sansaric life till we attain Nibbana. With this noble intention, let us make the wish. Imina punya kammena mami bal samagamu satang samagamu hotu yava nibbana pattaya. Finally, may all the good karmas we be making today in this first class, our Dhamma class, this is upgoing, be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Blessings. Abhivadana Siddhissa Niccang Vaddha Pachayino Chattaru Dhamma Vaddhanti Ayuvannu Sukhang Balang Ayurarugya Sangpatti Sagga Sangpatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sangpatti Iminati Samicchatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. With that, so we are winding up today's session.